Who's laughing now?
Kids say the darndest things, don't they? You know how it is. The little rascals overhear something they can't quite understand and spin a crazy, embellished version of it, complete with a lavish fantasy world to accompany the absurdity. I swear, it's enough to drive you mad. Granted, my sweet little Clarence has what you would call an overactive imagination, to the point where I'm not even sure he sees the world like we do. It makes sense. It's like, I don't quite know how to explain it. Like, sometimes he loses himself in his own mind. The puzzling nature of his creations so overwhelming that he fails to grasp what's real and what isn't. It's not the first time this has happened either, let me assure you. Clarence has quite the history of doing this, you see. I always forgive him for it. Of course I do. There are never any hard feelings. He is but a child. And what kind of parent would I be if I didn't nurture his wonderful creativity? A bad one, wouldn't you say? Mostly it's innocent, unnoticeable. Just a tiny white lie, or rather exaggeration, I should say. Rephrasing something he's overheard. Bringing false truths to life, so to speak. In a way, if enough people believe it, would it even be false? Couldn't it, through the sheer number of believers, become true? I'm sure I've read something to that effect somewhere. Oh, I do apologize. I tend to get a little bit worked up when talking about my Clarence. I suppose we should get back to the matter at hand. What I'm getting at, Mrs. Nichols, and I'm certain you realize this by now, but just to avoid confusion, you shouldn't always listen to what Clarence tells you. And even if you do, which I totally, honestly understand, completely. He's such an eloquent boy, so don't feel bad about it. But even if you do, you shouldn't always believe him. It's preposterous. Really, hilarious. Just such an absurd notion. One day, I assure you, we'll all sit back and laugh about it. So, just to be clear, Mrs. Nichols, when Clarence told you that we keep a little girl locked up in a box in our basement, he wasn't telling the truth. And when he told you that she wasn't alone, that we, over the last few years, have had multiple children locked in boxes, that was also just nonsense. I'm sure you understand this. But just in case you don't, we'll let you sit in your box for a little while. Just a little while. Just until you realize that kids say the damndest things.